Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a zero waste Q&A because I asked you guys a few videos ago if you had any questions for me because I've just hit 30k. Yay! So I thought this was a good time to answer your questions that you might have and not me just thinking up videos and throwing them at you. So let's just get straight into it. So the first one I'm reading from my laptop, it says, how do you balance all those ethical compromises? I feel like I run into difficult choices all the time. For example, do I buy plasticky fake leather boots because they're vegan, or get a leather handbag, or etc. That might last a lot longer? Do I use imported vegan spread, or do I use real butter that's made locally and put in waxed paper, etc.? So for me, it's a kind of, I'm not prepared to buy anything that's made from an animal. If it's second-hand, I think that is a different story because you're not putting money directly into that industry. But then at the same time, by wearing it, you're kind of advocating for those kind of products. So it is a very, very difficult one. Obviously, if you're not a vegan, then I will buy second-hand leather because you're preventing it from going to waste. You're not putting money into that industry, you're putting it into maybe a charity or a local secondhand store or something like that, and it's going to last you forever. So as long as you're the kind of person who's willing to buy one pair and hopefully they'll last forever, it's, you know. But for me, I just can't wear leather. Like, I have a leather handbag and a leather pair of shoes that I got secondhand from my mum ages ago, and I just thought I would use it, but I just don't use either of them. In fact, I use a synthetic, like a cottony bag instead, backpack. And I also do have a kind of like fake leather, vegan leather handbag, but I have a pair of the Dr. Martin fake vegan shoes, which I bought like a year ago, I think. Those two, I think, are the only things I'm gonna buy that are fake leather. To me, I would rather not compromise, and I'd rather just not engage in either, because one, I don't want to wear leather, I don't want people to see that I'm wearing leather and think that that's a good thing to buy because I'm vegan and I don't believe in it. But also, I'm not sure how much I believe that fake vegan leather can be completely sustainable, ecological. So it is a path that you travel down, and recently I have come to the conclusion that I'm not going to buy any more kind of fake leather things. But yes, it's a personal choice whether you choose to wear secondhand leather or whether you choose to buy plasticky vegan leather. But you just have to weigh up in your head, how worth it are these products? Are you willing to compromise on your ethics to wear secondhand leather? Really hard question, and it's really made me think. It takes some time. Like the bag and the shoes that I was talking about earlier, I definitely wore them and used them even 2 years into me being vegan, even though because they were secondhand. But since moving more in the direction that I've gone, I have naturally moved away from it. So you just have to decide what's the most important thing to you. Where it comes to butter, I will never eat butter again. I'm allergic to dairy, and I think dairy is unethical and it's cruel and unnecessary. I also don't eat vegan spreads. I just simply go without because we don't need these things, you know? And sometimes I will have them as a treat when I'm out at a restaurant and they use them, but I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't buy it. The next one from Vegan Gorge is, what's one area of zero waste that you still struggle with? What do I struggle with? I definitely struggle at times when I'm really busy at work and I just don't have time to go out and get some food to make, or go out and sit in a cafe and eat food there, or I've forgotten to make my lunch because I've been so busy, and that's the nature of my job. It's very stressful and it's very busy a lot of the time, and sometimes I'll find myself getting to the end of the day and I haven't eaten anything because I've been so busy and I haven't been wanting to go out and get something, and that's when I realise that I am a fool, I tell you, because I should have been prepared. I should have made sure I had snacks. So now what I do is I make sure that I have some kind of like oats or something at work so I can quickly make some pretty plain porridge just to kind of tide me over. But yeah, that is something I do still really struggle with because I get tired doing so many things, and yeah, it's hard to stay organized, you know? You can't always be winning at life. Well, I can't, that's for sure. So yeah, being organized and making sure that I have the food unpackaged is, yeah, that's tricky for me. The next one from Kayan. Tips on how to live zero waste outside of a major city. There are no bulk stores near me. Great stuff. Yeah, so I have made a video on this, which I'll put down below just in case you are interested, but definitely number one is to try and go to farmers markets and eat seasonally. Try eat a more plant-based diet, because there's things that you can get more easily in terms of vegetables unpackaged. I would say opt for the biggest package possible. So if you got the choice between 1 kilogram of rice or 10, and the 10 is much bigger and you know you eat a lot of rice, then that's something that you should do, because yes, you're still buying something in a packet, but you're also buying the biggest possible version, so you're only going to be producing 1 packet of waste rather than 10 individual 1 kilogram packets kind of thing. Also, just because you can't buy in bulk doesn't mean that you can't move towards a zero waste lifestyle. We do get really caught up in the physical stuff, and you have to also think about resources. Try and simply shop less. Try and not engage in the fast fashion industry. Try and be more conscious about things that you're bringing into your home. We don't need lots of things. Try and reduce what you need, so you're not constantly consuming, spending money that you don't have or you don't need stuff. That is a really great kind of inactive yet active way of reducing your imprint. Start cycling everywhere, have shorter showers, don't wash your hair, you know, every other day. Try and wash your hair once a week, so that you're reducing the amount of products that you're using, which will make your products last a lot longer. There are so many little things that you really can do that is not necessarily tied up in the actual physical things. Okay, the next one is, how do you deal when you ask for a drink to be put in your keep cup or food in a Tupperware only, to see that the bartender has used a takeaway cup or container to measure out the drink food before transferring into your container? So this has happened to me once, and after that I decided I'm never going to let this happen to me again. So what I do is I often bring up the conversation as if I'm embarrassed, when I could not care less anymore, about saying, oh, I'm really sorry to trouble you, but is it possible to use my cup, because I'm just really trying to avoid plastic because it's just so bad. And that often sparks conversation. I often have a conversation with people and they say, oh wow, that's really like great, and it kind of makes them more conscious of what I'm trying to do. So then they eventually, you know, they understand, so they don't use anything extra. But I don't know, I feel like I must be quite lucky in this, because other people have said, but at the same time, like, I've definitely said no straw and they've come back with a straw, or they've put a straw in my drink like really quickly before I've been able to say no. And I mean, what can you do? Like, it's not your fault if you've asked for something and you have gone out of your way to try and make something zero waste or sustainable, and you know, someone else has forgotten. I mean, you have to remember that people are super busy in these restaurants and places, and they're not always thinking about your needs as well. So you've got to be kind and compassionate to those people, but also at the end of the day, be kind and compassionate to yourself. Yes, you know, you might end up with a straw. Just take it home and reuse it, or take it home and put it somewhere that you can keep an eye out for the kind of plastics that you are using. But yeah, just don't be hard on yourself, and just try and think about ways to incorporating it. Actually, do you know what? I just watched Gita Mary's video on her zero waste secrets, which you should watch because it's really funny. And she said she often lies and says that she's actually allergic to plastic. Obviously that's not the same as using a coffee cup, but she says that she's allergic to plastic sometimes, and that really gets people to avoid it. And even though it is a lie, it's also a lie to do something good. I don't know. Anyway, you can decide what you think about that. Okay, got a question about zero waste makeup. What do you do for zero waste makeup? I'm especially curious about mascara. Thanks, from Chelsea. Well, I have not found any good alternatives apart from one, and they're in America. So what I've been doing is I've simply been minimizing what I use. I used to use so many products. I used to look like a proper Oompa Loompa with like bronzer all over my face and just like was not a good look. So what I've done is I've tried to really massively reduce my consumption of makeup products. So I used to wear foundation, I don't wear foundation anymore. I used to wear eyeliner, obviously don't wear eyeliner anymore. Never use any like lip gloss or lipstick. I never really use any eyeshadow. Only stuff that I have that I've probably had for a bit too long. But do you know what, like, I don't care about sell by dates when it comes to makeup. Like, I've never had a problem with it. Don't follow my advice and do it yourself. But I'm just saying I don't care. And I have some like eyeshadow palettes from like 2 years ago that I still use sometimes when I go out, but that's about it. All I use really is some mascara, which is just about to come to an end. I'm not ready to not wear any makeup. I have been reducing dramatically, but I think it's hard. Like, if you're doing other ways of being sustainable, that's really like quality driven, like it's real quality. So for example, reducing my animal product intake, obviously I'm vegan, and eating seasonally and locally rather than, you know, eating bananas that are shipped from the other side of the world. Like, those two things I think are quality ways of being sustainable, because you're really dramatically decreasing things. So don't be hard on yourself if something like you buy one mascara every few months. Like, it is about quality as well as quantity, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know if that's a very good reply, I'm sorry. Anyway, this video has gone on for a lot longer than I wanted it to, so I'm just going to leave it there. If you have any more questions, please put it down below and I'll do another one. Hope this was somewhat helpful. If you do have any kind of requests for videos, let me know, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.